What happens when a peaceful celebration turns into the scene of a public and emotional collapse? For Iman and Tiana, a couple once admired for their chemistry and seemingly tight-knit family, what was supposed to be a joyful gathering quickly became a defining, and possibly devastating, moment in their relationship. At a party meant to bring people together, Iman confronted Tiana in front of family, friends, and most heartbreakingly, their children. The confrontation began with raised voices and accusations, but it spiraled into something much more powerful. A breakdown of trust, a public outpouring of bottled-up frustrations, and a spectacle that would leave both families and the internet reeling. Now, everyone's asking, why did Iman snap, and can their relationship recover from this emotionally charged implosion? The atmosphere at the party was warm and inviting, filled with upbeat music, children's laughter, and the buzz of casual conversation. Family and friends gathered for what was supposed to be a relaxing, joyous day. For a while, everything seemed picture perfect. Tiana was mingling with guests, looking radiant and calm. Iman appeared slightly on edge, but many assumed it was just party planning stress. No one suspected that this peaceful scene would soon be shattered by a confrontation so dramatic it would dominate social media for days. According to those present, the situation escalated quickly. A man, visibly tense, approached Tiana during a conversation with another guest. Without warning, his voice rose, his words sharp and direct. He accused her of undermining him right there in front of their children. "You always do this," he shouted. "Even when I try to stay calm, you make me feel invisible." Tiana, caught off guard, tried to de-escalate, but Iman's emotions were already past the point of containment. Guests stopped what they were doing. Children looked on in confusion. In a matter of seconds, a casual celebration had turned into a public stage for a private war. The most heartbreaking aspect of the confrontation was the presence of Iman and Tiana's children. Young and impressionable, they stood at the center of an emotional storm they couldn't understand, yet would likely never forget. While Tiana tried to shield them, attempting to usher them away and stay composed, a man continued venting. His voice echoed across the yard, his frustration overwhelming his awareness of their little eyes watching. Witnesses say Tiana did everything in her power to stay calm, to end the argument quickly, but she too seemed shaken. The emotional temperature kept rising, and soon, others stepped in to remove the children from the scene. But the damage was already done. The moment wasn't just dramatic, it was traumatizing. And as the video circulated online, viewers around the world expressed their collective discomfort. This wasn't just a disagreement. It was a collapse in emotional control, played out in front of innocent bystanders who happened to be their own kids. For those who followed Iman and Tiana's story, this explosive moment may not have been entirely surprising. While the couple has often projected love and unity on social media, insiders and close friends have described their relationship as intense and complicated. Their love story, though filled with passion, has not been without turbulence. They've weathered emotional disagreements, temporary separations, and whispered rumors of infidelity, though nothing was ever confirmed. Despite these challenges, they always found a way to reunite, often citing their children as the glue that kept them strong. But over time, those internal pressures, the silences, the passive-aggressive remarks, the lack of emotional resolution began to show. While they managed to keep most of their issues private, those tensions didn't simply vanish. They simmered beneath the surface. This party, for Iman, may have simply been the tipping point, a moment when years of unspoken frustration erupted in the most public way imaginable. Once the confrontation footage hit the internet, public opinion ignited like wildfire. On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, people were split. Some viewers defended Iman, saying they could see a man who felt deeply hurt and unheard. They sympathized with his emotional breakdown, suggesting that he may have been pushed too far for too long. Others, however, strongly condemned his decision to confront Tiana in front of their children, calling it reckless, damaging, and completely unacceptable. Emotional exhaustion, they argued, is no excuse for public aggression, especially when children are watching. Comment sections lit up with debate. Relationship coaches weighed in. Fans of the couple were divided, torn between their loyalty and their concern. Some asked, was this really about that moment at the party, or was this an eruption from years of unresolved issues? Others pointed fingers, wondering if someone had intentionally recorded and leaked the footage to stir controversy. Behind the scenes, both families were left dealing with the fallout. Tiana's family, especially her mother, was furious. According to sources close to the family, she believes there is no excuse for Iman's outburst, especially not in a setting where their children were present. She reportedly told friends that she wants Tiana to protect herself and her children first, and not to prioritize appearances or public perception. She's urging her daughter to rethink everything, not just the relationship, but the emotional environment being created for the kids. Meanwhile, Iman's family is divided. Some are firmly in his corner, saying his emotional reaction was long overdue and that he's been made to feel like the villain despite being mistreated behind closed doors. Others, however, are calling for accountability. They agree that he deserves to express himself, but not in a way that causes public humiliation or traumatizes his children. Both families want the best for their loved ones, but now they're caught in the uncomfortable position of having to choose sides while trying to protect the most vulnerable ones, the kids. In the days following the party, Iman and Tiana sat down privately for a conversation that many are calling a turning point in their relationship. According to those close to the couple, the meeting was emotional, raw, and necessary. Tiana expressed how deeply the confrontation affected her, saying she felt blindsided, humiliated, and heartbroken, not just for herself, but for their children. They didn't deserve that, she reportedly said. And neither did Iman, for his part, didn't defend his actions. He admitted that his outburst was uncalled for, and that he let his anger override his better judgment. But he also opened up about feeling emotionally isolated in the relationship. "I've been trying to speak, but I never feel heard," he told her. This wasn't an apology without context, it was a confession of pain. Still, both knew that no amount of regret could undo what happened that day. The real question was, could they begin to rebuild? Just as things were beginning to settle, a new twist shocked fans and family alike. A leaked text message began circulating, one that implied a third party had been feeding details about Iman and Tiana's relationship to the media. The message didn't name names, but the implications were serious. It hinted that someone in their inner circle was betraying their trust, possibly fueling the emotional fire behind the scenes. Speculation ran wild. Was it a jealous friend, a disgruntled relative, a former confidant with an agenda? Suddenly, the confrontation at the party took on a new dimension. Was this moment entirely organic, or had external manipulation played a role? Could it be that Iman's emotions were partially stoked by private details being made public without his knowledge? This twist not only reignited online discussions, but also added a layer of paranoia and distrust to an already fragile situation. Now, as the dust slowly begins to settle, Iman and Tiana are left standing at a crossroads. There are only two paths: rebuild or release. Rebuilding would mean confronting years of emotional pain, acknowledging missteps on both sides, and committing to real, transformative communication, not just for themselves, but for their children. It would mean therapy, honesty, and hard conversations that don't end in silence or screaming. But the other path, releasing, might be equally difficult. Walking away, especially when children are involved, isn't just about letting go of love. It's about rebuilding a new kind of peace, one that offers stability without the toxic cycles. Either decision will take courage, neither will be easy. Iman and Tiana haven't yet made a public statement about what's next, but sources say that both are taking time apart to think things through. In the meantime, their families are offering support, and fans continue to flood social media with messages of hope, concern, and speculation. Some are rooting for a reconciliation, believing that love this strong deserves another chance. Others are encouraging separation, arguing that if emotional explosions like this can happen in front of the kids, then something fundamental is broken. One thing is clear: the next chapter in this story will define more than just their relationship. It will shape their children's memories, their public reputations, and the emotional trajectory of their lives. So now we ask you, what do you think? Was Iman's public confrontation justified, or did he take things way too far? Should Tiana give him another chance, or does this moment mark the end of a love story too damaged to save? Can couples come back from a moment like this, or is it a warning sign that the emotional foundation is already gone? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take, because moments like these are never black and white. They're complicated, they're painful, and sometimes they reveal more than we're ready to face.